What is going on, folks? What is going on? Christopher Journalist Comments of Pop Culture. It is Friday, and this is Friday Night Live. I'm going to tell you all straight from the get. I was having a great day today. That flipped around, and over the last couple hours prepping for everything for tonight, I'm like, I am not even feeling like this. My head hurts, but guess what? We're still going to have a show. But I want to say this: feeling like this and coming into the stream and seeing everyone that's here already and seeing you guys talk it up is already slowly bringing my mood back up. So I want to thank you all. I see a lot of channel members here and just good friends of the channel already. So I really appreciate you guys for just being here. It's kind of already getting me back into just knowing that I'm here for a reason, right? But there is some things that came up today that have kind of troubled me, and I want to talk about that a little bit. I know we have a very, very pressing topic of discussion to talk about tonight, but I am going to spend, maybe no more than 10 minutes. I don't want to beat up a dead horse with this, but I'm going to bring up something tonight before we get into that main topic of discussion. But let's say hello to everyone here. Battle, Delta, Shadow Rat, Peter. We got Pedro, Travis, and Matt in the house. Isaac's here. I always say, man, Isaac, going strong, Isaac. He was in my first ever live show before I even knew what I was doing. Mojo's here. Sir Monte, happy Friday. Let's see. Paul's here. Marvel Goddess. Let's see. We got Dark Luwap. My vision is a bit. I might, guys, I wear glasses for reading. I might need to start wearing them all the time. More and more I do these live shows, I'm like, oh my goodness, I must be getting old. Mr. Habanero, yeah, I was just I believe I was responding to some of your comments earlier today. I think you may have replied again, and I haven't checked that out, but I always try to. Funny thing, folks, my truck is in the shop. I didn't make it to work today, to the school. So I got some extra time to sit and hang out and sit and respond to comments. So I always love and enjoy doing that. So Mr. Habanero, thank you so much for being here for sure. Smile, friend. What a fitting handle right now, because I'll tell you, man, it's been a day. Vinny's here. What's going on, Vinny? Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. All right, everyone. What is up? Okay, so as I always like to do, a few announcements. Of course, if you are just tuning in to my channel for the first time, this is Journals, Comments, of Pop Culture. I am here almost 7 days a week, every day, every week, producing content for all of you guys. I don't sleep. I don't rest. I do sleep a little bit, but like with one eye open. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, I would be greatly appreciative if you guys can do so. I make all kind of comic book content. We do our Friday night live shows every Friday, and I'm also one half of Comic Book Canon. I have a Comic Book Canon link to our YouTube below as well. We do shows once a week as well. They're usually on a Friday, but folks, I'm going to give you guys an announcement. We got like 2 more Fridays, including tonight, before we switch over to a Sunday night Comic Book Canon show every week, folks. So I hope that doesn't throw a curveball for a lot of our, regular viewers and whatnot, but we're still going to be there weekly. It's still going to be a fun show. Tonight, though, I want to see everyone over on Comic Book Canon. We have a special guest, Bronze Age Nerd. If you all aren't following or subscribed to Bronze Age Nerd on YouTube, you definitely should. What a good dude, doing some great things. And I'm 100% jealous of his filming quality. So I need to up my game, because, boy, I could put his videos on mute and just watch it, and it's just so stunning. Right? So we're going to have him on tonight as a special guest co-host on Comic Book Canon. So I really do hope to see all you guys there. I want to say congrats to Patreon member Kenneth for winning the year-end Patreon-only giveaway, which is right here. Actually, I have it right here. So, Kenneth, I don't know if you're watching. I messaged you. I haven't heard from you yet, but if you are watching, or if anybody knows Kenneth, this is yours. Thor 18 exclusive Comic Tom 101 variant and Bad Idea Tankers print 740 out of 1500. And folks, for all of I know I have a ton of channel members in the house right now. I need to randomize and pick a winner for this beautiful Death of Doctor Strange #1 Peach Momoko variant, folks. So to all of my YouTube channel members, one of you is going to be taking this home. I promise I'm going to get around to doing it real soon. I swear I feel like I have so much on my plate every day. I have this checklist that, you know, it's like carrying a pile of paper or something, heavy boxes, and people just keep coming and say, hey, can I stack a couple more on? Can you put these away? Can you put those away? And as I take a couple off, thinking I'm getting somewhere, somebody comes and stacks 5 more on. That's my days. A lot going on, but I do my best, folks, to stay on top of everything, to get everything out to all of you guys. Videos every day, live shows, comic book canon, giveaways, prizes, and so forth. Lastly, before we get into a special topic of discussion today, Tony's in the house. What's going on, Tony? EGS represent. EGS link down below, folks. Cali Comics. Bill's here. What's going on, Bill? 10,000 subscriber giveaway, folks. We are, last time I checked, like 270 subscribers away, if I remember correctly. So again, I ask you guys to continue to support the channel, share it with your friends, get the word out there. It's just going to be a massive giveaway. And I don't even have all the prizes set yet, but I promise I will. A lot of sponsors that are going to be involved. So I cannot wait for that. Also, Comic Book Canon 1K giveaway. Same thing there. Tell your friends, share it with your friends. We are so close, and we have a stack of slabs. I talked about this last week. We have so many slabs that we're going to be giving away. So, guys, we're going to get there. Hopefully sooner than later. I got to give a big shout out. Comic Book Jackpot, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm glad and want you to squash the beef between Bronze Age and Comic Tom. Oh, is there beef? Uh-oh. I didn't know about that. Squash the beef between Bronze Age and Comic Tom tonight. If anyone can, I know you can. Oh, man. Comic Jackpot, appreciate the super chat. Thanks for bringing that up, because I wasn't aware. Look, I know that people have personal opinions about everyone, including me. And Tom's one of the big dogs. You know, love him or hate him, he's established himself, and he is what he is. And you know, I know people have their own feelings and talk and whatever the case may be, but you know, I don't get too deep into the drama, right? That's why when I had disagreements with certain labels that Key Collector was doing on some of their books, and I did videos about them, it came to a point where I stopped even talking about that, because people took it out of context, because people just think it's drama and want to hate. And I was just like, I'm passionate about this. I stand firm in my opinion. I don't agree with this, but it turned into, like, you know, my viewers saying, yeah, pitchforks, personal attacks and all that. And I'm like, nope, that's not, I respect Key Collector and everyone involved, but it's just my personal opinion. I'm going to stay away from this conversation now, because you guys are taking it out of context. This is not about the drama or the hate. But Comic Book Jackpot, I don't know if we'll bring up anything tonight, a Comic Book Canon. You know, we have a set show, but hey, it might be something I can, you know, talk to him about and just see where his head's at. I don't know. Maybe he's willing to have a conversation. I do agree with you, though. If there is any beef, I'm confident in myself that I can maybe bring folks together and say, let's find some middle ground here, right? So, Hook 197, what's going on? That brings me into a topic of discussion that we're going to talk about for maybe 10 minutes, folks. Oh, shoot, I didn't bring my inhaler. I got this long-term COVID haul stuff, guys, and it's not fun. It is getting a little better, but I've been puffing on my inhaler every single day, and I didn't bring it, so bear with me. I should be fine. All right, just don't get me too excited, okay? Today's sponsor, Trader Joe's Alkaline Water, baby. Yeah, with electrolytes. They're not a sponsor. I'm just kidding. Anyways, woo, folks, You guys already got me in such a good mood. I appreciate it. Caleb, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, that didn't. Oh, that didn't look good. That did not look good. I was like, I was doing. Wow, that was horrible. I was meant to do the. Woo! Edit that out. We can't. We're live. Oh my goodness. Wow. I could see some haters taking that and distorting it out of context. Okay. Give me a sec, folks. No, I'm good. I'm good. No, I haven't been drinking. I haven't had a drink in 8 years. I drink I drink, I'm all about my water, baby. So that didn't make a good for our top 10 tonight either. And some controversial stuff we're talking about. Oh my goodness. Woo. Hey, look at the shirt. Unity, baby. I'm all about unity. Let's talk though, folks. So I was really kind of pulled down today over the last couple of hours. I have moments, folks, and I'm going to be real with you guys right now. It might get a little depressing, but it's going to get real. I have moments where I want to stop doing what I'm doing. I don't want to do this no more. I don't, no gift. Anyways, but there's moments where I don't want to do journals anymore. I just want to put it all away, turn it all off, just enjoy my comics in private, and just that's it. Maybe stop doing this and take up my educator position full time, or maybe start doing my music again, having an outlet and a voice where I feel like I'd be more accepted. And I'm going to tell you guys, and this is where it's tough for me to even say this, because I'm going to tell you right now, everyone that I see in the chat, you guys, Empire, what's going on? You guys accept me for who I am and support me day in and day out. And there is no gratitude that could be spoken with words. Ingus, what's going on? But, I am very much an empath. And for those that don't know what that means, it means I'm very sensitive to the world around me and to people around me. I am very sensitive to the suffering of others, even if it's not me, and even if it doesn't personally affect me. When I hear about something horrible happening to a loved one, a father, a son, a daughter, a child, a mother, in the news, like, I get choked up, man. And I put myself in those people's shoes. And when I think about all the horrible stuff that goes on in the world, it's hard for me to turn it off. My music was a outlet and a platform that allowed me to dive into that stuff. And I used a lot of my own struggles. I think a lot of people with music do. And if you look at Tupac, somebody that's obviously had a huge influence on me, saved my life, and what he did with his music, he basically died for the cause of saying, I want to change the world. You might be wondering what point am I getting at? Jeremy, what's going on, Jeremy? Louie. The point I'm getting at, folks, is quite honestly, sometimes I don't know if this is the platform for me. Not because I don't know nothing about I don't know enough about comics or anything like that, because I'll stand firm. I mean, I don't read as many comics as I want. I'm not, Robbie with Pop Culture Philosophers or AR, where, man, they read so many, but they're on top of their books, and they do they're like the Siskel and Ebert of comic books. Like, I'm not that, but I handle my business. I understand the industry. I understand investment. You guys know all the stuff that I talk about. So that's not what I'm saying when I say I don't know if this is the outlet for me. I'm saying I don't know if it's the outlet for me because I truly feel that there is a large majority of people in this community. And please, if you guys are in the chat and you may think I'm talking about you, don't get defensive or mad or think I'm being disrespectful. I'm just honestly trying to be real. I think there's a lot of people out there that are very much, how do I say this, stuck in their ways, or, conditioned to view the world and their thoughts and how they process things in a way that closes them off from how I view and see the world. And this isn't just in comic books. What's going on, Dan? Emmanuel, Crispy. This isn't just comic books. I think we live in a society today in America, in the US, but all over the world. We don't know how to communicate. We don't. And in the age of instantaneous information, there is a lot of groupthink going on. For those that don't know what groupthink is, Google it. We are so stuck in front of our, like, honestly, and it's not just kids, we're like, oh, these kids today and their phones. Guys, I'm sure most of us that are in the chat are anywhere from 25 to 55 years old. I'm sure a lot of us spend a lot of time in front of our tablets or our phones, and we're doing this. And like I've used this analogy before. It's like in movies where they show you where they kidnap the person and they put the, they hold their eyes open with the device and they put them in front of the screen and they're flashing like propaganda, brainwashing them. It's like, that's what we're doing when we're scrolling. I've talked about this before, folks. And I think even when we don't mean harm, even when we don't necessarily mean harm, I think we have lost the ability to be conscious of thinking for ourselves. We consciously think that we're thinking for ourselves, but we're not. It's a fallacy because subconsciously we're stuck in groupthink. And the groupthink comes from us being fed so much instantaneous information from YouTubers, blogs, Facebook, memes, memes, reading comments on people's and because of two things. One, social media platforms are so good to marketing. They're so good at not only marketing like brands, like, oh, everyone sells your information. Like if you went and shopped on footlocker.com and bought some Nikes, you're going to be seeing ads on Facebook for like Nikes or Fresh Kicks or like Air Jordan or something like that. Not only are they good at taking our information, our click history, and everything that we're doing online and selling it to businesses to sell us product, but they're also selling us rhetoric. Meaning, and this isn't politically based, folks. It's really not. But for example, if you are, say, you voted for, I was saying, who ran for president for the Republican? Obviously, it was Trump again, trying to do a second term. So say you're a Republican and you voted for Trump, or, maybe you voted for a Republican senator or something like that. Or say, you liked a post about somebody voting for a Republican. You are then going to see stuff come up on your wall that is relating to Donald Trump or Republicans or something like that. And the same goes with Democrats. If you voted for Biden or whatever, or say you're in a group that's like, Democrats of California or something like that, it's gonna, and same with your friends. They find key words, like hot words, that if you're typing a post and you post it and it has a word that says protest, and maybe, who knows what these algorithms are so good. Then you might start seeing posts about like protests at the California Capitol or something like that. So basically, I'm going to use COVID as example. Say and I'm not knocking anyone here again. I'm just giving an example. Say you're completely anti-vax, anti-mask. COVID's a lie, right? And you're going to be getting all kind of random stuff, probably fake news sources from bloggers and stuff that are to what you believe in. And say you're like on the complete opposite end and you're like, death to anti-vaxxers, right? Or anybody that's not vaccinating their kids should get freaking hung at the stake or something like that. You're going to get these like extreme posts shown. And where this becomes a problem is that everyone has biases, right? Everyone has we all have our own, preconceived views on things. And when we have instantaneous information being fed to us that is essentially programmed to feed into what they think we believe, we're almost feeding our own misconceptions and biases. So, again, now you may still ask, where are you going with this, Chris? This is a comic book channel. There are a lot of people in the comic book hobby that believe comic books should be a certain way. And when you think one thing about anything and you're on social media platforms, again, social media platforms where anyone has a platform now, which is a good thing, but it's a bad thing. And I always say this: technology is a double-edged sword. God gave us free will. How are you going to use it? We have the free will to do for good or for bad. Same with technology. When you have a possible preconceived bias, even if it's not out of negative intentions or hurtful intentions, like speculators are ruining comic books. Okay. That's a pretty general statement. For those that know me know that I laugh at that statement. I laugh at anything that's a generalized statement. I don't believe in I don't like generalizing anything, to be quite honest. So say somebody thinks that speculators or flippers are ruining comics. It's most likely that when they search on YouTube or on social media, they're going to search for things that validate their bias. Make sense? They are going to search for things that validate their bias. And when they do this, the algorithms are going to keep feeding them things that validate their bias. So in up next for you or suggested for you, the algorithms are going to know where your stance is, what your biases are, and they're going to feed into that. Then this individual is only going to watch people that share his or her views. We watch videos, we listen to people talk, we read the comments. And what starts happening is it's a rinse, recycle, repeat. You get the rhetoric thrown back at you that you already thought, I think I believe this. You get it thrown back at you. It validates your beliefs. You throw it back again and it comes back and it does this and it comes back. And then this person gets into it and it's the same thing. And without even knowing it consciously, you stop thinking for yourself. Groupthink. Groupthink. This is happening so much in the comic book community. This is why I tell my viewers all the time, don't just listen to me and take what I say at face value. Ever. Ever. I want you guys to trust my words, have a certain amount of trust. Don't ever take what I say at face value. But there are other people that will never mention that. No. There are people that will get in front of a camera on YouTube and they will stress their biases and they will say it in a way. They'll look, I get passionate. They'll put that. I'm not mad at them for getting passionate about it. We're all, we all have the right to our own convictions and passion. But what they don't tell you is that in that passion and conviction, it's simply misleading, and at the end of the day, nothing more than biased rhetoric. I do my best. Like I said, we are human beings and we all have biases. But I always say this, you cannot You cannot win an argument until you can argue against what you believe in. And I said this before. I'll give the prime example, abortion, because we know that abortion is very controversial. There are so many people that are for abortion and they don't see it any other way. And then there are people that are very not for abortion. They're very strict. There's obviously people in the middle like me. I could see both sides of things. But, I was in a debate class where I got a topic of discussion. And it was like, abortion is good or abortion is bad or prison reform is needed or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to argue this. I believe that. I stand for that. And then the professor goes, argue against it. Argue against. I'm like, what? How do I argue against? Like, I believe in this. How do I argue against it? I don't believe that. But you do it and you figure it out because there is underlying truth to all sides of any argument. And until you can truly win an argument, you cannot sit here and put blinders on to what somebody else thinks. And that's where we're at, folks. We are unable, completely unable to think outside of our own preconceived biases. Whether it's about comic books, whether it's about socioeconomic conditions, whether it's about cultural, socio-cultural conditions, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whatever it is, we can't. We are incapable. In this incompatibility, you get two things from it. You get people that don't know anything other than to be narcissists and bullies. But then you get people that I think are truly not trying to be harmful, but yet they're just so engulfed in this groupthink mentality. Not saying one is better. Well, if you're intentionally being a bully and a narcissist, that's never good. And having a social media platform to project this has made it worse. So I was just in certain situations today. Kunish, what's going on? Lee, what's going on? I was in a certain couple situations today where I just got reminded of this. Saw a couple videos of people that have more subscribers than I do that are sensationalizing comic book topics and data. And they skew the data. And they talk about these things in a way that basically allows the viewer and the listener to already perceive it with a bias. Instead of saying, this is what's going on, this is what I think, and this is why I think it, you think for yourself. And it goes beyond just like comic book data, comic book sales, because in certain situation, it pairs with relevant cultural and social issues. And when people sit on extremes of relevant cultural and social issues, it is divide and conquer. And did you see what I said there? When people sit on both sides of extremes, both sides. I'm not taking any extreme side here. I get accused of it often, but when you are on the extreme of both sides, it is divide and conquer. And I can't stand that comic books, the thing that is supposed to bring us together, the downtrodden, the outcasts, those that were never accepted. People coming from all walks of life to explore art, the creation of visual and art and literature and writing and storytelling. Yet we sit here and we use it to divide each other because we have held on to this false idea of reality so hard that when something else gets spoken that might question that reality, it threatens your whole way of life. Thank you, Comic Book Jackpot. Thank you so much. Matt Stage, what's going on? So, look, I can't stand bullies. I can't stand bullies. What's going on, Larissa? Can't, Los. It's ironic because my passion sometimes gets mistaken. And I was recently told that I'm belittling. And I took that into heart. But I said respectfully, just because I'm passionate and I don't shy away from speaking my truth, it doesn't mean that I'm belittling anybody, because I love engaging in argumentative, debates. I love it. I love going up against somebody that has a different perspective and arguing with them. But I'm all about shaking hands when we're done, and we may be able to learn something from each other at the end of the day. When we allow ourselves to become ugly, I was told today that I have fallen off my rocker by somebody that said they unsubscribed from my channel simply because I talked about one subject regarding a comic book, and they disagreed. And you know how they responded? With the same groupthink buzzwords. And I really truly think this individual didn't mean, I don't think they were trying to be condescending. Louis, thank you so much, Louis. Thank you. I could tell that they were I hope that they were being respectful. I was like, I hope I'm not reading into this and they're being cynical, and I replied back respectfully to them, but I could read through that whole comment and realize, and I can tell, I am confident that it's just the same stuff that is regurgitated. That is just regurgitated by YouTubers that have hundreds of thousands of views. And the reason that they have hundreds of thousands of views is because so many people fall in line to the groupthink, because they grew up in a world where they can't think outside of their box. Now, I'm not saying that they need to change their initial heart of certain things that they believe in. But when you limit yourself to not being able to think outside of your box, that's when these things start to happen even more. Marvel Goddess, thank you so much. Thank you all for the super chats. I really appreciate it. We got issues. What's going on? Michael Carter, what's going on? I'm going to wrap this up here, folks, because Viper, I really want to get to this other topic that I wanted to discuss today, but I'm going to wrap this up and say there's just times where I just want to stop, because while there are all of you here today, and I know a lot of you will tell me, don't feed the trolls. And it's not even about that, guys. It's not. It's about being so sensitive and empathetic to the world around me and knowing that there is so much ugliness out there, and I don't even want to see it. And sometimes the only way I can turn my eyes from it is by turning all this off. Sorry I'm like that, you know? I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like a blessing and a curse. I wish I could not care, but I do. And I'm not trying to sound holier than thou because I am an imperfect human being. But as a father, as somebody who's gone through my own struggles and have seen so many other people suffer in life, it just makes me sick. So, again, I just ask you all to let's be better. You know, let's be better human beings. And because so much of our lives is ingrained in comic books, we got to use comics to help push that betterment. I'm not sitting here telling you to groupthink with me and like, disagree with people, question things, but never allow your preconceived biases to get in the way of opening your mind or putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. None of us know everything. None of us. None of our own individual experiences are of the Almighty Most High. We don't see it all. So I encourage you all, don't be threatened. Nothing's going to harm you. Nobody's taking, at the end of the day, especially if it has to do with comic books, nobody's taking away your rights as a man, as a woman, as a white man, as a black man, as a Christian, as a Muslim, as a United States citizen, as an American, as a, as an Asian or like nobody is taking any of that away from you. As a straight man, as a gay man, as a straight woman, as a gay woman, nobody is taking anything away from you. Nobody. And if there's any, the only time people try to take stuff away from you is when they're trying to be hurtful, right? But when it comes to comics, ask yourself how this really impacts you. Does it impact your preconceived biases of a world that doesn't even affect you? Think about all these things when people talk about comic books. And before you fall in line with groupthink, take yourself out of your own shoes and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Because at the end of the day, if you still believe what you originally believed in, you might have a broader perspective, or you might be able to argue your point home against those that disagree with even more firepower. So that's my message today, folks. I'm sorry to get real deep and borderline depressing there, but I have to address it. So look, folks, we got a good 15 minutes. We're going to talk about the main talking point of the show today. And I'm sorry that rant took a little longer than I wanted, but it was needed. Spider Dude, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Caleb. Comic book jackpot. I hear you. I hear you. All right, folks. Let's talk about comic books as an investment. Hopefully this isn't as controversial as some other things. It's very important, though, right? I'll try to get straight to the point and concise with this. Because I was just recently in discussions about people that were saying that comic books are a horrible investment. Well, let me tell you a fact. I'm going to tell you all a fact real quick here. If I took $10,000 and invested it into the stock market, say, just like a S&P 500 portfolio, all right? And I took $10,000 and invested it into a portfolio of comic book keys. Now, you'd have to be smart with your investments. $10,000 a year ago could get you some substantial things. What I would do to diversify a comic book portfolio with $10,000 is I would stay away from like 9.8s and allow myself to diversify even more with budgeting to lower mid-grade comics. So I may have bought a Amazing Spider-Man 129, First Punisher, in a lower grade for maybe $500. I could have bought a Fantastic Four 48 in a lower grade for maybe $700. So maybe a Werewolf by Night 32, for a few $100s. Nice mid-grade books here. I don't got to go up to that 9.8 mark because here's the thing, folks, and this is for another video, but I just want to touch on it real quick. If you take $10,000 and invest it in a 9.8, or you spread it out among other mid-grade comics that are trending upward the same way, your return on investment is going to be a similar percentage, which is still going to give you a similar return on investment dollar amount, right? But so back to diversifying this portfolio of comic books. So you got to be smart. If I would have done that with 10K, the comics next to S&P 500 type portfolio, I would most likely be close to being in the negative right now. I would be close to being in the negative right now. And I know that from my own investments. Now, I in no way invested close to $10,000, but I was in the negative for the last couple of weeks. Right now, I think I'm about even because it came back up a little bit. You want to know where I would be at with that 10K in comics? I probably would have tripled my money right now. Yep. And that's even considering, the market's dipping right now. Well, look, not every comic follows the same trend, just like stocks. Not every stock goes up while all of them go up. They don't always go down when they all go down. Some go up, some go down. Some go down, some go up. Same with comics. If I would have invested 10K a year ago into comics, being smart about it, diversifying a smart portfolio next to a portfolio in the stock market, I would be close to a loss with the stock market, and I would have been close to tripling my money with comic books. So, to answer the question, are comic books a smart investment? Well, giving the example that I just gave, you can easily argue, yes, they are. But I'm going to say this, and this is becoming one of my favorite taglines, and I want to make a shirt of it. No investment is a smart investment without a smart investor. I'm going to repeat that. Comic book cannon in the house. One half joining us here. We'll see you guys there in a little less than 20 minutes. Let me repeat that. No smart investment is without a smart investor. And it doesn't matter what you're investing in. You could be investing in the stock market. You could be investing in crypto. You could be investing in collectibles and comic books. You could be investing in real estate. If the investor is not smart, your investment won't be smart either. And it's that simple. So the same rule goes with comic books. Comic books are only a smart investment if you are a smart investor. Okay? Let me give you an example of a not so smart investor. And I'm not trying to mock people by saying this. I'm just using a realistic example. Somebody that doesn't know much about comics and they're just getting into the hobby, right? And they have this misconceived notion that it's comic books, it must be worth money. Who's been there? Maybe some of us has been there. Don't feel shy to admit that. And who knows other people that are there that think like that. It's comic books, it must be worth money, right? So you go spend thousands and thousands of dollars on exclusive variants or I don't know, 90s Marvel. Yeah, you can't just do that. You can't just go out and spend money on comics and say it's worth money. It goes back to those sellers that will like come into a collection. They don't know anything about comics. They got a book from 1997, and because that's 25 years old now, and it's like wrinkled, it's ripped a page. Vintage comic book, $100 because they're like, oh, it's a comic book, it must be worth money. That's not smart investing at all. But a large majority of us, either one of two things. One, We understand this if we're a collector, even if we're not huge on the investment side of it, we still have a basic grasp of this. Or two, we are open minded to learning how to grasp these things, right? Kane. Yeah, Kane, I hear you. Kane, I've been there. Swaggles in the house. Ha, yeah. So I was there. I got kind of a FOMO with the when Rebirth hit. When Rebirth hit, I was buying everything new. And I can't believe whoa, my light went out. Whoa. And like after I was paying cover price for these books, they were ending up in the dollar bins, right? I'm like, what? This is not a smart investment. Comic books are a smart investment if done properly for a few other reasons. One, if you do your research and look through history, comic books have been recession proof. While property values sunk and other intangible items dropped, like the stock market, comic books held their ground. And I've looked at the data, folks. There was a lot of recession type economies during the 70s, and comic book value, even though the primary market struggled in the 70s, hence what created the direct market and so forth. The 70s is when collectors started realizing that comic books can be valuable, recession proof. Even in the 2000s, when we had the Great Recession, look at comic book values between 2008 and like around 2013. Look at comic book values during that time. Everything dropped. Everything dropped. But not comic books. I'm not making this up, folks. I'm not. Entertainment does well, indeed. So there are other indicators of why comic books are a smart investment. But what did I say? You have to be a smart investor. Comic books aren't a smart investment when you wait until midnight for the airing of one WandaVision episode and you see White Vision at the end of the episode, and then you're FOMOing on eBay and buying a $5 to $10 book for 150 bucks. That's not smart investing. But does that mean comic books aren't a smart investment? No, that's on the investor. You see what I'm saying here, folks? So, my advice to everyone is advice that I continually repeat on my channel. I do all kind of videos discussing how to gauge fair market value, looking at fair market value, looking at books if they are increasing in value because of live action spec or because of things that are going on in the current comic books or just because of 8 comic books aging out or whatever the case may be. Then I look at examples of what might be a solid short-term investment next to a solid long-term investment. These are all things that you all need to understand in order to make comic books be a smart investment. Surge is here. Electric transfer conduit. People always want comic books in the Apocalypse Show's movie, so there you go. Hey, well, you know what? To that, some of those characters in their books are still undervalued simply because there wasn't a successful film. So, folks, WandaVision at 12 midnight. Yeah, mid-century monsters. Knowledge is key. Absolutely. Stampede, what's going on? I have some DC Impale card series. Ooh, hey man. I love superhero cards. I don't care what they're worth. I love them. At the end of the day, let me get some water. because I got something important to say. I forgot my inhaler, folks. At the end of the day, it's about you and how you educate yourself in the decisions that you make and how you want to pursue the comic book hobby if you're looking to invest in comic books. It's going to look completely different for everyone. I'm going to give you another example of a good way of investing in comic books without even really trying to invest in comic books. This is personal experience here. There was a time, I constantly shift my style of collecting. There was some years there where, it had a lot to do with the fact that, I was putting myself through school, raising kids. I didn't have a lot of money, and if I could spend money, I saved it, and I saved it for huge sales. So I would hit up 50-cent back issue bin sales or quarter bin sales. Big shout out to Empire's Comic Vault in Sacramento. I hit up a couple of their patio sales where they brought out tons of long boxes of comic books at 25 cents each. Big shout out to A1 Comics for having multiple 50-cent patio sales. Inflation has kind of raised those sales to dollar sales now. I just went to one a few weeks back. I would go into those sales looking for quantity over quality for the most part. But, to my argument, I wanted to collect runs, right? Well, I got kind of carried away and I started grabbing a bunch of stuff for runs that I probably wouldn't ever read, right? Ever. And essentially, I can look at some books in my collection right now and say, I don't need those. I don't need those. And there are many books that I paid a quarter for or 50 cents for that I know for a fact, simply because inflation, I could sell those for 2, 3, 4 times plus what I paid. Guaranteed. So I was essentially investing in comics without even knowing I was investing in comics, right? That's just one other example, folks. Verify, what's going on? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Za Collector, what's going on? So, again, folks, I had something that I was going to say, but I lost it. And we need to start wrapping up here. But Lowbrow, what's going on? Yeah, it's hard to obtain that, Dan, when you're on a budget, for sure. I'm pretty impressed with what I was able to do over the years, though. But, one last point before we go here, guys. And this pertains to inflation as well. Another reason why comic books are a good investment. If you pay $1 for random books, even with inflation, the value of your dollar deteriorates, right? So $1 today is going to get you less in the future. And that's just how it works. Because right now, for $1, I might be able to buy 2 soda cans, whereas 10 years from now, I might only be able to buy 1 because of price increases and inflation and so forth. So, and that's why I always say, guys, if you ever win the lottery and they ask, do you want your $5 million up front? Or do you want $250,000 over the next however many years? Give me my money right now. Because $250,000 next year and the year after that is going to be worth less than $250,000 today. Take that money now, invest it in something, because you could gain interest, right? Or gain value, or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to comic books, a very similar idea here. If you have $1,000 in cash sitting, investing it in anything is better than just having the cash. Because if you invest it in even dollar bin comics, that $1,000 of dollar bin comics is going to be worth more in 10 years, for the most part, than it is today. But still, everything is not foolproof, because there might be certain comics that you buy for $1 that nobody's going to ever want. But again, from experience, what was dollar bin fodder 5 years ago, a large majority of it, some of them are premium, minor keys. Some of them are big keys, but a lot of them are standard back issues now that could go for anywhere from $3, $4, $5, $6, because that's what happens as a lot of comic books age. So, guys, I would love to break this down even further, but we are going to have to end today's show to get ready for Comic Book Canon. I really do hope to see all of you guys over there. We're going live in less than 5 minutes, folks, so we might be a couple minutes delayed. That's my fault. But, guys, again, I thank you all for being here. Look, we had a good show today. I appreciate you all listening to me for that first talking point that I was diving into. Thank you all. Look, at the end of the day, I really come out of doing these things and doing what I do and seeing all the support that I continue to get. And that's what keeps me going. And even though I may have days like this where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, I keep going because of all of you. So I really appreciate that. And if I can help impact just one of you, that means the world to me. So I want you all to know that. I appreciate you all. And again, folks, if you're hanging out and you're not subbed yet, please do so. And if you haven't subbed to Comic Book Canon, go do it. Links below. And I want to see you guys over there for our Comic Book Canon show going live in just a few minutes. Big shout out again. Special guest, Bronze Age Nerd. Thank you guys. See you on the Canon.